An engineer is in a coma. You read it on your phone at 7 a.m. His name is in the third paragraph. You met him once at a teen lunch. He complained about his mortgage. He brought chocolate cake for someone's birthday. He fixed a bug in your code once, patiently, without making you feel stupid. You put the phone face down on the table. You told yourself this was intelligence. It felt like murder. 3 years earlier, you landed at Ben Gurion Airport with a fake name in a story that almost held together. If they catch you here, there is no lawyer, no trial, no diplomatic phone call. You are an Iranian intelligence asset on Israeli soil. That means one of three things: a cell you never leave, an exchange that takes years, or an unmarked grave somewhere quiet. Karimi told you this on your last night in Tehran. He said it like a weather forecast. There's always a what else. You're 22 when they sit you down in a basement in Tehran. No windows, fluorescent light buzzes. The chair is metal, cold through your shirt. A man in a gray shirt drops a folder on the table. Inside, a name, a photo, a city. Selected, he says, not recruited. There's a difference. 6 months of Hebrew, not classroom Hebrew, street Hebrew, slang, curse words, how to argue in a market. An audio recorder with 400 hours of Tel Aviv conversations. You fall asleep with earphones in every night. You dream in a language that isn't yours. Your handler is Colonel Karimi, wire glasses, dry hands. He corrects your accent by pressing 2 fingers against your throat. He smells of black tea and cigarettes. He never raises his voice. That's what makes him frightening. He slides a phone across the table. Israeli SIM, already registered, already warm, like someone else just put it down. Your mother stands at the door when you leave. She grips the door frame. You kiss her forehead. You tell her it's a tech job. You walk down the stairs without looking back. The door clicks shut. Istanbul first. 3 weeks in an apartment smelling of mold and fried onions. Then El Al. A child kicks the back of your seat. The wheels leave the ground. There's always a what else. Ben Gurion Airport, 11 p.m. Air conditioning, Hebrew signs, floor cleaner and duty-free perfume. The passport officer looks at your document, looks at your face, stamps it. You say Toda. He's already looking at the next person. Tel Aviv smells like salt and diesel and falafel grease on hot metal. You rent a room in Florentine, peeling paint, a window that won't close, traffic noise until 2 a.m. You get a job at a cybersecurity startup. Your legend includes a degree from Ben Gurion University. The degree is fake. The skills are real. Yael sits next to you, sharp, loud, drops barekas on your desk on Thursdays without asking. Week 2, she invites you to Shabbat dinner. Her grandmother takes your hand when the prayers start. Her skin is paper thin, warm. The challah is still hot from the oven. You go home at midnight. You open the weather app. You type a report embedded in metadata behind 3 photos of the seafront. Traffic patterns, police schedules, a blind camera angle. You hit send. You sleep 4 hours. Then, on your 4th week, it almost ends. The office security officer stops you at the entrance. New protocol. He needs your original university transcripts, not a scan. The originals, by Thursday. You smile. You say, of course. You sit at your desk with your hands flat on the keyboard and completely still. You have 4 days to make a document that doesn't exist look like it always has. You call a number in Berlin. 90 seconds. You hang up. Wednesday, a courier drops an envelope at your building. Transcripts on aged paper. Faculty stamp that matches every database check. Thursday, you hand them over. He barely glances at them. You go to the bathroom. Cold water over your wrists. You look at your face in the mirror. There's always a what else. Month 7. A colleague says your accent sounds completely local. You smile. You file it away. Month 9. A reserve duty send-off dinner. Long table, sweating beer bottles, men joking about uniforms that don't fit. You laugh at the right moments. You count the exits. There are 2. Month 11. Karimi's message at 3 a.m. Screen lights your face in the dark. He wants a deployment schedule, a name, a software engineer on a drone navigation project, the checkpoint the minister uses when traveling north. You put the phone down. Ceiling fan turns slowly. A moped revs outside. You type a partial reply. Inaccessible, you write. You hit send. 2 words come back. Try harder. Bathroom tile, cold under bare feet, cold water over both wrists. You look at your face in the mirror. You go back to bed. You pull the go bag from under the bathroom floor panel. 50,000 shekels, 2 passports, a folded paper with an extraction route memorized 40 times. Bus north, train to Haifa, ferry contact. 6 hours and you're gone. You close the bag. You push it back. The ceiling fan keeps turning. There's always a what else. The startup gets acquired. You get promoted. New access card, new floor, new systems. One afternoon, a document sits open on a conference room screen for 4 minutes. Numbers, coordinates, a project code name. You read it once, you memorize it. That's the training. That night, you type it from memory onto an encrypted note. Lamp on, half-eaten pasta going cold next to the laptop. His name is Daniel, 2 floors above you. Complained about his mortgage at a team lunch. Brought chocolate cake for someone's birthday. Fixed a bug in your code once, patiently, without making you feel stupid. You hit send anyway. 3 weeks later, 7 a.m. His name in the 3rd paragraph. Critical condition. Quiet road near Netanya at 6 a.m. No other vehicles involved. You put the phone face down on the table. You told yourself this was intelligence. It felt like murder. You miss your next 3 check-ins. On day 12, Karimi sends 1 message. A photo. Your mother's street in Tehran. Her building. Afternoon light. Taken yesterday. No text. You open the app. You type, I'll check in Thursday. There's always a what else. A man appears near your building on a Monday. Dark jacket, gray trainers, white stripe on the heel, thick, distinctive. Reading a newspaper on a bench across the street. You clock him on the way to the bus. You don't slow down. Tuesday, different jacket, same shoes. You buy a coffee at the kiosk next to him, close enough to smell his deodorant. His breathing is slow and controlled. Not a man reading a newspaper, a man performing reading a newspaper. Wednesday. A woman in a blue coat stands further down the block. Same angle to your entrance. Same stillness. That night you don't sleep. Fully dressed, shoes on, go bag by the door. You watch the ceiling and count the sounds. The pipe in the wall, the neighbor's television, a car that slows outside at 2 a.m. and doesn't stop. At 4 a.m., a thought arrives that is worse than all the others. What if there's nobody out there? What if 3 years of this has broken something, and you're lying here afraid of a man who reads newspapers? You don't know which answer is worse. Karimi's message, don't change routine, act normal, we assess. The man and the woman disappear after 10 days. Then Karimi sends the new tasking on Sunday morning. You're by the window. The sea is flat and silver. You read it once. You read it again. This isn't a deployment schedule. This isn't a name. This is the kind of information that doesn't disappear a car. It disappears a building. The coffee goes cold in your hand. There's always a what else. Bathroom floor, back against the cold wall, tile hard under you. The fan hums, laptop open on the floor. You start typing, not to Karimi, an embassy contact you identified 18 months ago and never used. American. not Israeli, less personal, more procedural. 3 years of names, roots, assets, drop points, real names behind cover names. Your fingers move fast, but you stop. You open the photo Karimi sent. Her building, afternoon light. You look at it. You understand something clearly for the first time. Defection is not safety. The Israelis might not believe you. The Americans might hand you back. Karimi will know within hours. Your mother is in Tehran, and she will pay for this decision before you finish making it. You are not choosing between danger and safety. You are choosing between one catastrophe and another. The fan hums. The tile is cold. You close the photo, phone face down on the tile. You type for 40 more minutes without stopping. You stand up. You close the laptop. You walk to the kitchen. You make coffee. 6-hour delay on send. Go bag by the door. You drink the coffee while it's hot. You wait. There's always a what else. 6 a.m., Tuesday. 3 sharp raps, not a neighbor. Already dressed, already at the kitchen table. Coffee going cold. Awake since 3. You open the door before they knock again. 3 people. 2 men flanking a woman in her 40s. No uniforms. She has a folder under her arm. She pauses, long enough for you to understand what's coming. She says your real name, your Iranian name, the one you haven't heard out loud in 3 years. It doesn't sound like yours anymore. Your pulse hits once, hard, behind your ears. Hands at your sides, completely still. That's the training too. She sits across from you, opens the folder, turns it toward you. Your own face, surveillance photo, standing at the kiosk next to the man in the gray trainers, 14 months ago. She says, "We've been watching you for a long time." Then, "We also read what you sent this morning." She slides a second sheet across, your document, time-stamped 4:47 a.m. You look at it, you look at her, you say nothing. "Start from the beginning," she says. You talk for 11 hours. You're 26. A room with a window facing a parking lot. 1 tree in a concrete square. Bad coffee in a paper cup. You drink all of it. Karimi recalled to Tehran. What that means, nobody tells you. Your mother was moved 3 weeks after your arrest. They say she's safe. You hold that belief carefully, the way you'd hold something made of glass. Yael sends one message. You read it on a screen in a gray room. She writes, "I knew something was wrong. I didn't ask because I was afraid of the answer. I hope the window has a better view than you deserve." A pigeon lands on the concrete tree square, looks around, leaves. You spent 3 years living as someone else. You built a life inside the cover until you couldn't tell which one was real. Daniel nearly died on a quiet road at 6 a.m. You ran cold water over your wrists and went to work the next morning. Tradecraft like this has a name. Operations like this have file numbers. Covers like this have addresses in real cities with real people inside them. Sometimes the cover becomes the life, and sometimes the life becomes the thing you're trying to save. There was always a what else.